I see lots of advice on the internet about how to batch record podcast episodes, and I have to tell you, it really makes me cringe because for most beginner podcasters, that is a recipe for failure. I am here to tell you lovingly that you should not be doing that. Not yet. There will come a time when that's the right option for you, but today we're going to talk about why you shouldn't do that and what to do instead. I'm Huete, I'm a podcast producer, and I'm the creator of the Emerging Voices Podcasting Accelerator. And I help people launch and grow their shows without getting lost in the tech overwhelm, the creative doubt, and the fear of putting your voice and your story out on the internet. If that sounds like you will love my 10-step guide to launching your podcast. And if you're wondering why you should trust me, you will want to know that these are the shows that I have worked on. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about batching. Batch recording basically means that you record a whole bunch of episodes in a short period of time. This could be over the course of one day, you record 4 episodes, or over the course of a week or 2. Now, when you are a pro, when you know what your show is all about, when you've had a relationship with your audience, I am all for this. I think this is a brilliant time-saving strategy. But when you're first starting, you don't want to do this for a few reasons. First, you don't yet fully know what your voice is, okay? And by that I mean you don't know your flow, your episode structures, you don't know what feels good to you as a host. So if you batch record 4 episodes, your first and your 4th episodes are gonna sound basically the same. And there's also a case where your 4th episode might actually sound worse than your 1st episode because you're exhausted because you just tried batching a whole bunch of episodes together. So not only have you not given yourself the time to reflect on what the first episode sounded like, what you want to do better for the second episode, etc., you now have a whole bunch of episodes that you are committed to publishing, especially if you've interviewed people. You're going to feel like you have to publish these versions because you can't ask them to re-record. So we want to save you from that. Second piece is that you cut yourself off from feedback when you batch record. Podcasting is not just a broadcast. Podcasting actually is a platform that allows you to have a relationship with your listeners. This could be in the form of comments on your episodes in Spotify. This could be in the form of reviews on Apple, or if you have a newsletter or a Substack, it can be in the form of people responding to the emails that you send out about your podcast. So there really is a relationship between you as the host and the creator of your show and the person listening to your show. To batch record too many episodes together basically cuts you off from that entire feedback loop. So this means that people's opinions, feedback, engagement, what lights them up, what they hated, what didn't resonate, none of that can be incorporated into future episodes because you have just spent so much time moving in one direction without really getting anyone's input before you hit publish. Third reason I don't think most beginner podcasters should be batch recording is because batching can sometimes be a form of perfectionism or procrastination. And I mean, let's call it what it is. Sometimes it's fun to sit in your little pod, work on something that you think is like a creative masterpiece that never quite sees the light of day. And this is totally understandable, right? It's scary to put yourself out there. The fear of being judged is very real. But if you're afraid of being seen, and that's why you're batch recording so many episodes, we gotta keep it real with ourselves. So here's what I recommend you do instead. Record 1 episode, edit that episode, share it with at least one ideal listener, get their feedback, and then incorporate that feedback into episode 2. And repeat this until you start feeling good about what it is that you're creating. The reason we do this is because you're not just creating something for you that you think is good. You're creating something that's meaningful to both you and your listener, okay? So now let's address the big elephant in the room. The whole reason everybody wants to batch is because we think we don't have enough time. Now, when it comes to time, there are 2 things I really want to share with you that I think if you can wrap your head around this, it will totally change how you create and how you spend your time. The first is that moving really fast in the wrong direction is not progress. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Moving really fast in the wrong direction is not progress. I know it can feel like progress. I know it can feel like you're going somewhere. But if what you're creating is not actually resonating with the people that you want it to resonate with, what are we doing? Why are we creating this thing, right? We want to see true growth, and that does not mean just moving really fast in whatever direction the wind takes us. And second, to use your time really wisely at the beginning means that you are intentionally closing the gap between your taste level and your skill level. Okay, when you're first starting out, that gap is going to be at its widest. Over time, with each episode, as your skill level grows, it slowly gets closer and closer to your taste level. But in order for that to happen, you have to be intentionally improving something with every single episode. If you know that this gap exists, but you're just moving really fast, that gap is going to remain. And that is what I actually think can be really disastrous for a lot of new creators, because you put something out that you don't quite love, that doesn't quite resonate with your audience, and then you feel really discouraged because you think, I'm just not that good, and like, maybe this is not for me. Yeah, I had this dream, but now I'm just gonna throw the whole thing away. I don't want you to do that. That's not the right thing to do. But the wisest way to invest your time at the beginning is on improving your skill level. And when I say skill level, I'm talking about things like improving how you sound as a host, asking better questions, knowing how to treat each guest. If you have a guest-based show, you want to know how to optimize how to treat each guest before each interview, during each interview, and after each interview. And then you want to get better at editing. You want to know what you want your podcast to feel like and make it in a way that feels good to you and resonates with your listeners. Your early episodes are your training ground. This is where you're building the foundation for what your show is going to become. I really think that if you can invest the time and energy in making the foundation really strong, you can get super fast as your episodes go on and on. But if you don't invest in that strong foundation, the likelihood that you can move really fast in the direction that you want to go in the long run is very low. I promise you, if you do this, you can create the podcast that you want to see and the life that comes along with that. And if you're still trying to figure out where to start, download my 10-step guide to launching your podcast. It follows the strategy, production, and community building framework that I use in the Emerging Voices Podcasting Accelerator. I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Drop your comments below and let me know, are you a batching girl or are you committed to setting a super strong foundation by learning the basics? And then, you know what? There's no stopping you after that. I'll see you in the next episode.